No second chances, no support, and nowhere to go but the finish line. Day and night, non-stop, racing the clock as much as they race themselves. Across 4 continents and countless challenges. The ultimate prize is simply surviving. The journey, the tears, and the triumphs. Welcome to Wild Races. South Africa, a landscape driven by adventure itself, welcomes the next exhilarating round of the series.
South Africa as a country has such a diverse geography and diverse climates, and there's so much difference. They'll never be the same. 100 k's up from here, it's entirely different. You can put on an entirely new race, you know, you're in your own backyard. I think there's a lot to offer.
We've got the rivers, we've got the savannah, we've got the forests, we've got the wild coast. The opportunities are limitless.
Africa is a super special place for racing. It is so beautiful.
I think we're going to see an unbelievable array of scenery and countryside through the whole 500-kilometer course.
Cultural diversity. You're going from your first world, beautiful cities, and then from there you're going to your very, very poor, very rural communities within a couple of hours drive or a couple of hours cycle from one another. I think a lot of the time it's glossed over. So what you will see on a glossy brochure, or what you will see as a foreigner to South Africa, they often just show you the vineyard, they show you the outside. Whereas, coming and doing an adventure race, coming and doing a sport is going to immerse you in the true grit and true South African culture. And that cultural diversity, I think, is again something that's very unique to a country like South Africa.
You're not insane to do a race like this. It's actually completely sane. In a situation like this, I find it really fulfilling. It's completely different and it's completely rich in so many ways, in all the senses and in all the highs and all the lows. And it just revitalizes you and sort of gets you going a little bit.
In life, you just get lost in day-to-day life and you don't really get to push your limits on a daily basis. And coming out here and doing expedition races, it really puts your mind and your body to the test. It's something that is pushing way beyond what you actually perceive yourself capable of. Very few people get to experience that sort of limit-extending experience, and we experience that sort of limit pushing on a new level every time we come out here.
Racing with people you don't have a good bond with, it's just not the same. And we've always come back time and again as a team, the 4 of us, and we just click. And you weather each other's lows, you help each other through the tough times, and then you leave the race as great friends.
Definitely like a roller coaster. Highs you can't put into words, and then lows that you think you're never going to come out of. And that's where it actually is mental, because you think you are so low and you think you're so weak and so exhausted. And literally 5 minutes later, you're feeling absolutely perfectly awesome, and that's got to be mental.
You need the experience of how you cope with situations, whether it be physical, whether it be mental. You need to know how you cope with it, and to an extent how other people will cope with those things as well. I think when you start out in sport, you're a long way from realizing the extent of these things. Something like this, it's not just a physical fitness, it's a mental fitness as well. I don't think you can look at this whole thing as a complete race. You need to break it up. Can't look at it that way, otherwise you wouldn't bother starting. I'm totally in the dark as to what to expect.
It makes a huge difference to us, being South African and racing in our backyard. I mean, obviously logistically it's just so much easier. You just feel at home. We kind of have an idea of the terrain, of the weather, absolutely everything. It's easy to shop, it's easy to get around, accessible. It definitely helps things, I think it just takes away the whole stress of the pre-race. And you get there and you're actually pretty relaxed and you really want to be there.
I come out here and I lose myself. In the course, you'll have a whole lot of issues, be it business, family, whatever. And this little bit of time that we spend out here in our environment, in what we're blessed to live in, this little bit of time we have, it's just a case of absolutely forgetting everything, losing yourself in what's happening around you and just taking it all in. Crossing the finish line at the end, I don't care if there's one person, if there's no people, if there's 100 people. It's about you and those 3 guys next to you.
Expedition racing to us is just an adventure. It's a way to get out there and explore parts of the countryside and parts of ourselves that we didn't know existed.
For me personally, this is the first time ever even coming to this part of the country and looking forward to just seeing what it has to offer. It's the best way to explore new parts of your own country or other countries, getting down and dirty with the landscape.
It depends what you term as success, but we've never won a race or anything, but we still find ourselves a successful adventure racing team because we've grown in our bonds and we've never really fought. And I think through lack of sleep and hunger and cold and hot, you could lose your cool, but I don't think we've ever done that, and that's a success in itself, I reckon.
Compared to solo endurance sports, it's chalk and cheese because adventure racing, you're only as strong as the weaker person at any one time in the race. Every team has some people who are stronger at some disciplines and weaker at others. But as a team, you're only going to go as fast as the slowest person. And I think that is the key difference between that and a solo 24-hour endurance race, because you're pushing yourself, you have no one to fall back on. And you're fighting your inner demons, you're not fighting everyone else's inner demons. Whereas adventure racing, it's you and your team. So it doesn't matter how strong you're feeling, you've got to make sure that you're getting through with the rest of the guys at the same time.
This is it, this is what it's all about, racing in Africa.
Lovely.
Very cool. It's something you've got to experience. It's absolutely amazing. Team this size, I've never raced in a team this size before. 2 man's the biggest I've been in before. I think how it all works is you sit out there, you start doing a half marathon or a standard mountain bike race and you go, that was awesome. I wonder if I could do the next level. And you do that one, oh, that was awesome. What's next? And you gradually build on it and you're always pushing yourself to try a little bit more, go a little bit further, go a little bit faster maybe. I think that's what gets you to a point of doing a 500k adventure race. I started with a half marathon.
The group dynamics are going to be very different to Ironman's completely individual. Yeah, I think the group will be the main difference. We've trained much slower and probably less, but done longer distances and longer time. We've done very little strength and speed work. We've just gone out and just been out for hours and hours, but slowly. Yeah, whereas with Ironman, it's trying to get the speed and the strength and the power. Yeah, we haven't done any of that for this.
Yeah, the team's important. You've got to be able to work with whatever strong points the other person's got and benefit from that when you can and look after them when you can't.
I don't know how we're going to do the nutrition. Yeah, that's one thing that I'm really worried about. I lose interest after even an Ironman distance. I can lose interest in eating. I think the first 2 days will be easy. I can't even picture how I'm going to plan for food on day 4 and 5. So I'm very worried about that. Put on a few kilos in the last 2 weeks and hope that that's going to see through. It's quite interesting talking to people because they switch off. They say, what are you going to do? And you start telling them and people they sort of don't comprehend. I don't think they've got any idea of what it's about. It doesn't make sense so they stop listening because they don't really want to understand it.
Yeah, 500Ks here, anything can happen, but I think you kind of just feel a bit more comfortable that it is your back garden, and you sort of know what to expect. I know anything can happen and everything changes all the time, but it is still your back garden and you just feel so much more at home in it.
The hiking, I think that's going to probably be the toughest part of it because, yeah, this vegetation's nasty. There's proper thorns out there. You look at some of these gullies, if you try and walk through that, it's going to be like a 2k hike and it's going to take you 4 hours. So yeah, I think the key is going to be to look for roads and paths and try and stay where the bush is a lot not as dense.
You know, I don't know if it's our physiology which is developed or actually just our experience gained. Because every single race we are, you know, we're just experiencing something new and able to manage ourselves and the whole team so much better. These young guys come in, they're 18, they're pumped with testosterone, and off they go charging up the first hill. On the first day they're like, you know, winning hands down. By the end of that first day they've blown, they've crashed, and that's pretty much when you get your solid, more experienced oaks heading out to the front and staying out front. So I'm not sure if it's physiology. I think it's actually more a mental thing.
Being in the multi-sport game, we do paddling, we do running, we do cycling, but a sport where it combines everything is just, you know, it's just sort of the cherry on the top. You get to do all your favorite things in one event.
We love adventure racing. This is what we do. We just love it. We love getting out into the open, getting into absolutely nowhere, getting into a headspace where it's just you and your teammates and the wild outdoors and just looking at it. And whether it's here or whether it's anywhere in the world, for me it's the same stuff, and it's just getting outside and getting into nature and just being one with it and just getting out of this rat race of life that we live in.
This is racing in Africa, and it's just, I don't know, this is just absolutely special, and just such a privilege to be here with these wonderful special animals. It's just amazing, and how peaceful and tranquil it is.
South Africa's landscape is rich in cultural heritage, wildlife, people, landscape and sounds, all truly distinctive and a welcome introduction for our teams. But now it's time to get down to the business at hand.
Right, this course for 2012, it's divided up in basically about 60% on the bike, the 300 Ks. Most of the cycling, there's two distinct parts of cycling. The first part is quite nice, sort of rural roads with the farmlands. And then when they cross the Fish River, they're going into real sort of tribal land, roads that's quite deteriorated, bridges that's washed away, and the scenery changes from a very more wealthier farmland to very poor subsistence farming, with lots of little huts and little piggies and donkeys running around. And then on the hike, which is about 125 kilometers in total, so a lot of variety, a lot on the beach. And with these beaches in this side of South Africa is hard on the feet, sloping, soft sand, never really gets hard. And then obviously moving in and out through the dense coastal forest. So if they don't stick to the path, as sort of they can get through this forest, to crawl through it will be a bad mistake. I think it will really test the teams. Kayaking, will be a little bit of section in the sea. There's no real other moving water, all tidal rivers. So if they hit it on the wrong time, the wind will be pushing or the tide will be pushing, make it harder. It's going to be challenging.
The beauty of adventure racing is there's a big portion of how you perform is how you work with the maps, and so it's a big part of the race. If you're working well with your maps, you can actually do pretty well regardless of how strong you are. So when we get those maps, I mean, half the excitement is, you know, checking out where we're going. So we're really amped to just check out the maps, see where we're going, and work out a strategy as to how we're actually going to go about it. I mean, the training's done, the preparation's done. Now we just have to see how we can apply that preparation to the actual race.
For us, the rush comes from where we are in our surroundings. So it's super exciting to get out there and know that we're going to see the most beautiful part of South Africa that you'd never normally see on your weekends out. You never sort of get really deep into the wild, but a race like this will definitely take us there.
The course comprises kayaking, mountain biking, trekking and abseiling, all around some of the most majestic wildlife and landscapes on Earth, totalling nearly 500 non-stop kilometres. The stunning coastal township of Port Alfred, home to race headquarters, is a welcome sight for our teams as they prepare for the wilderness adventure that awaits.
Picking up our bikes here for the track at 12. now within an hour, so make sure everything's sorted out.
Okay, got everything over and out. I think I'm ready to go.
You have to stay within yourself. You can only go as fast as your slowest person. If you leave one person behind and you kill them and you hurt them, you'll pay for it in the end. So look after your team, go together, and yeah, race your own race.
It's been absolute chaos. You've got 2 boxes, you've got to think about your food, what transitions you're going to be at with that box, and have you got enough? You've got to get the clothing right, and yeah, it's just eventually you just start staring into space. Have I forgotten anything? But we've got there eventually.
We're going to be out of our comfort zone from 7 o'clock tomorrow morning for the duration of 500 k's.
Really amped for this race, can't wait. Just ready for it.
T-minus 12-ish hours. 13 and a half, according to Schnookmeister. How are you feeling there, Snooky?
I want to start now. I'm tired of waiting.
He wants to start. I've been packing the whole day and yesterday, and that's pretty much half the race done. The hard bit is done. We've got 500 k's of easy trail to smash. And we have a bit of pre-race shenanigans going on.
So we're doing some real final prep, getting rid of some last minute muscle spasms in Christopher's back and bum.
It's never nice going into a race with a bit of an injury. But then again, it always helps having a physio on your team.
One day before the race, busy preparing the final food, what's going where.
We have 2 boxes that we have to hand in this afternoon, which are going to comprise of all the gear we need along the way. So we need to work out what we need for trekking, for cycling, and sort of distribute it with a whole bunch of food that we're going to last us for 5 days. I am totally freaked out. I've just been going through the route and just like trying to visualize where we're going to be for the next 5 days, and it's really daunting and really intimidating. You don't know what's waiting for you. You really got to, it's just expect the unexpected.
I think it looks like an absolutely stunning course. I think we're going to see some really, really interesting stuff. I tend to not like to pour over the maps too much. In fact, I've probably poured over the maps too much for this race already. I like to plot the route, put the markings on, transfer the information, put it onto the map, put them in the bags, and then actually put them away. And next time I see the map is out on the course. Ultimately, eventually it just gets to a stage where you just want to start. You just want to stop all this running around, talking to people, putting everything into boxes and packing and going over this. You just want to actually now get on the start line, get out there with your 4 teammates, get out to the outside and just be part of it and actually get running it. And I think we're at that stage now.
With all the important preparations complete, all that awaits is go time.
For the start, I think we'll just take it, we'll head out as quick as we can and just take it conservatively. Start's always difficult because you've got all the teams together, so it's easy to get flustered and try and end up following teams or something. We'll stick to our own plan.
No, thoughts are off the race for the next 20 minutes. And then reality hits when you step off the bus again.
We always feel the beginning of the race feeling. I believe if you're not nervous and you're not ready, you can't be totally zoned out. They're all lying to you at the back of the bus. None of us not thinking about. Everyone's thinking about the race. So we're all nervous because we're ready.
He's right. It's true. Sort of got the whole butterflies in the stomach thing going. But yeah, it's just got to throw myself out of space.
Just want to get out and start.
Very nervous. It's a long pull ahead of us, but we're going to hang in there. See how it goes.
We're psyching ourselves up. We're getting ready to suffer. We're at the Toposcope, which is up in Bathurst, and we've just received our OPs. So we're just trying to get the sequence right, what we're going to go to first, bearing in mind that Bathurst isn't very flat. Very apprehensive, we've got the shivers. But yeah, no, we're ready for this now. It's been a long wait to get going. We're ready now. Team-wise, for us to make an error on navigation, which isn't impossible, would be very demoralizing for us. For somebody who doesn't know the area, you almost expect it.
Woo! So we're standing here on the start line of Expedition Africa 2012, 500 k's ahead of us. Very nervous, very excited.
So this is what it all comes down to, 500 k's. We're going to start off with a sprint,
be able to crawl in no time.
I welcome you to this part of the country, South Africa. I understand that you are coming from all over the world. So therefore it is proper for the mayor of the city to welcome each and every one of you to this race. And I am saying now that good luck. Don't exhaust yourselves. Your families will be watching you. I will be watching you. And Port Alfred team, do it. Show them. By those words, you are welcome. Good race. Good luck, all of you. Thank you.
Next week, it's go time. We discover why South Africa offers up the most spectacular natural diversity yet seen by our racers. It's truly an astonishing adventure ahead.
I thought I knew the area and I was very wrong. This is phenomenal and it's taking my breath away every step that we take.